かった。ただ一つ確か成果しか。
Welcome back to Gabriel Talks Gundam. Last time, we explored the Universal Century's beginnings, the MS-03 WAF, and how Zeon took its first steps towards building true combat mobile suits. Today, we're moving deeper into the story by looking at the early machines that laid the foundation for everything that came after. The two mobile suits for today being the MS-04 Bugu and the MS-05 Zaku I. These two mobile suits often get overshadowed by their younger sibling, the Zaku II. But make no mistake, the Bugu and the Zaku I represent the crucial transition between clunky prototypes and the mass-produced war machines that defined the One-Year War. Without them, the entire concept of mobile suit warfare might never have taken off. The MS-04 Bugu was the first machine to really push past the prototype stage. It was built using everything Zeon's engineers learned from the earlier WAF, but instead of just being a testbed, it was intended for real combat. What made the Bugu special was its fluid pulse system. Those energy pipes you see running along its exterior weren't just for looks. They carried power directly to the limbs, making the suit far more responsive. This gave the Bugu speed and agility that few other machines could hope to match at the time. For a pilot, it must have felt like stepping into the future. But that kind of performance came at a cost. The Bugu was simply too expensive for mass production. Zeon realized it couldn't outfit any army with these machines. Instead, the Bugu served as a stepping stone, paving the way for a cheaper and more practical design, the MS-05 Zaku I. Still, the Bugu made history. A few units were produced, with one taking part in a weapons test outside of Bandai Co in UC-0077. Another was famously assigned to Ramba Ral, one of Zeon's most celebrated mobile suit pilots. His Bugu was painted in his signature blue and fitted with the commander's antenna, making it stand out instantly on the battlefield. And it wasn't just for show. In UC-0078, Ral's Bugu participated in the first mobile suit battle in history, fought on the surface of the moon at Mare Shimithi. That's the moment mobile suit warfare truly began. The Bugu wasn't only linked to Ral. Another notable pilot was Kokuru's Doan, who later defected from Zeon and became the central figure of the story in Doan's Island. It's fascinating to think that both these characters, so different in fate and philosophy, once piloted the same type of machine. For weapons, the Bugu carried a solid loadout, a machine gun, a Type A2 bazooka, the classic Heat Hawk, and even a shield mounted on his left elbow. Standing at 57 feet tall, it set the basic proportions that would carry forward in the Zaku line. And of course, its first real appearance for US fans was in Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, where we see it side by side with its buddy, the WAF, a glimpse into Zeon's rapid leap forward. Now let's talk about the Zaku I, the machine that took Zeon's ambitions and made them a reality. Introduced in UC-0077, the Zaku I was Zeon's first true mass production mobile suit. Unlike the Bugu, this suit wasn't about being flashy or cutting edge. It was about being reliable and buildable. Zeon wanted something it could roll off assembly lines and put into the hands of hundreds of Zeon pilots. The Zaku I delivered on that need, and with it, the Principality of Zeon essentially created the concept of a mobile suit army. At first, the Zaku I was a frontline machine. It fought in the early conflicts, establishing Zeon's dominance in space, but very quickly the design was outclassed by the improved MS-06 Zaku II. The newer suit had better armor, better weapons, and improvised thrusters, making the Zaku I feel outdated only a few years after its debut. By the outbreak of the One-Year War in UC-0079, most Zaku Is had been reassigned to support roles. They worked in construction, supply, and engineering duties. Yet, that doesn't mean they were harmless. In fact, during the opening moves of the war, Zaku Is were directly involved in Zeon's most infamous atrocities, such as the gassing of colonies and even attaching booster engines to colonies to send them hurtling towards Earth. Grim work, but it shows how versatile even an outdated Zaku could be. And it wasn't only grunts piloting them. The list of notable Zaku I pilots is long. Gundam, Top, Gabby Hazard, Matt Austin, Lee Swagger, Manning, Gaia, Ortega, Mash, and Eric Blanc, just to name a few. These pilots kept the Zaku Zaku I relevant well after its prime. In fact, when Zeon started to collapse late in the war, after losing huge battles like Operation Odessa on Earth and Operation Star 1 in space, commanders had to dig into storage and bring old Zaku Is back into combat. Some of these units fought on Earth with the Midnight Fenrir team at California Base, proving that in the right hands, even an older machine could still pull its weight. After the war, the story didn't end. Zeon remnants continued using Zaku Is as late as UC-0081, simply because they had no other choice. In a way, the Zaku I became a symbol of survival, outdated but still functional. The armament's options reflected this versatility: a 105mm machine gun with drum magazines, a Zaku bazooka with 4-round magazines, the trusty Heat Hawk, and in darker operations, the G3 nerve grenade gas launcher. The suit itself stood at 57 feet tall and weighed about 58 tons, making it a little bulkier than the Bugu, but still within the same design lineage. So when we look at the Bugu and the Zaku I, we're really looking at the birth of the modern mobile suit. The Bugu showed what was possible with cutting-edge technology, while the Zaku I proved that mass production could turn these machines into the backbone of an army. Together, they formed the stepping stones that led directly to the Zaku II, the mobile suit that would come to symbolize the Principality of Zeon. And that's where we'll be heading next. In the next episode of Gabriel Talks Gundam, we'll dive into the iconic MS-06 Zaku II and its Federation counterpart, the RX-75 Guntank. Two machines that defined the one-year war and in many ways defined Gundam itself. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, behind every legendary mobile suit, there was a prototype and pioneers that paved the way. Until next time, this has been Gabriel Talks Gundam.